All right. Hello, everyone. Today we have Evan Carmichael, my mentor, and we're talking about his awesome book, Your One Word. Evan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man. It's an honor and pleasure to be here.
Hey, man, we're going live here. We'll see how this is going to be a great, fun experiment. And this is the usual stuff. We talk about books, or this is usual for me. I talk about books with my lovely authors. And today I have the pleasure of getting you, as I said, my mentor, on the show. So welcome.
I'm excited. We're going live. This is good. We'll see what happens.
Let's see. Let's talk about the book. Let's talk about Your One Word. And the way we go about, I want to understand your personal story, your background, your business story, and what led you to writing this book. So give us the story behind the book.
Sure. I'll go super quick, and then you can tell me where you want to dig deeper and cut me open and dive in. I wasn't an entrepreneur growing up. I had a lot of entrepreneurial tendencies, but I thought I wanted to be a banker. I ended up going to university, connected with two entrepreneurs, and joined them in their business and became an entrepreneur. Hardest decision of my life, turning down what I thought was my dream job to become an entrepreneur. We struggled and sucked at the start and managed to figure it out, turn it around. And in a couple of years, we got acquired, became a venture capitalist, helped raise $500,000 to $15 million for companies who wanted to grow, and then started this to help entrepreneurs. It started off as a website. It became a YouTube channel. We just hit 600,000 subscribers today on the channel, so pretty exciting. I get to celebrate right here on 2,000 books. I love it. And then the book is an interesting story. I didn't want to write a book at the start. I have an agent in New York, and his job is to get me deals, brand deals, speaking gigs, that kind of stuff. And he said, "You need a book, Evan, you need a book." I'm like, I don't know if I need a book anymore. Like, to open up doors, I have my YouTube channel. I don't need a book. And he said, "Let's go through the process anyway. Just trust me." And through that process, I then discovered the one word idea. I'm like, you know what? This is actually what I would want to write a book about. This actually makes sense. This lends itself better to a book than to a YouTube video. And we ended up going in and getting 5 different potential suitors, and we lined up calls with them, and we ended up going with Penguin Random House. And fast forward, 2 years later, here we have a book out in stores and helping entrepreneurs.
Yeah. And I really wanted to get into the idea behind the book, more like, what was it? What was it that triggered the one word? What was the story of the one word in some ways? What led you to thinking about the one word, believing in the one word? Because I know I've been associated with you for a while now, and I see this in our discussions quite often, where you pointed out saying, what is that one thing? So what led you there?
Got it. So I was having some success with my business. I just felt like I could be doing more. I felt like there was more to me than what was coming out. I felt I had more potential, and I didn't know what it was. And I initially thought it was just a marketing thing. Like, how do I market my website? What's my tagline? I need a better tag. I wasn't happy with my tagline. And then I started coming up with new ideas for taglines, and I realized I got down to believe. And I thought, you know what? This is much more than just a tagline for business. This is more about who I am as an individual, and I could bring that to my business, but it's not everything. And so I was struggling at the start. My tagline had evolved from hungry entrepreneurs deserve help, and over 20 million entrepreneurs helped and counting, and motivation and strategies for entrepreneurs, and all these different ideas for taglines. And as I just wrote down a list of ideas, at the start, I never had a thought of building around one word. Believe it's not like I need to get my business down to one word. And I was just writing down a whole bunch of ideas, and nothing. I show what the ideas were in my book. I just wrote them down on a notepad, and believe was actually in the middle of those words. And I came back to it the next day, and like, believe just seems to pop off the page a little bit for me. But believe is too simple. Like, one word is too simple. You can't do it off of one word. And then I tried adding to it. I tried adding a bunch of variations. Believe in yourself. Believe in what you're doing. All these different versions. And the more I looked at it, the more I thought, you know what? I just like believe. Mm-hmm. And then all these thoughts come in, like, well, believe is too big. Who am I to be the believe? Believe has been done before. Justin Bieber's had album Believe, and Cher had a song Believe, and Shamu the whale at SeaWorld has a show called Believe. Like, it's not unique. And I had to get through all those limiting beliefs. The book came out of, okay, I found this thing that then started working for me. So I applied it. It started going on my YouTube channel, started going to my newsletter. Everything that I touched with Believe started getting better results. So I wanted to share that process. But I also went out and interviewed 5 different companies who are between $50,000 and $150 million in revenue. And they all built their business around one word as well. And I wanted to know, how did they do it? And so I drove and I met them and I interviewed them, and that became content for the book. So it's not just me who was doing it off my business. It was all these other entrepreneurs who had success, and they didn't have a blueprint either. Yeah. They did the crazy thing and built their business around one word. And then now I'm pulling the bits from all of these people and say, like, here's how you can do it. So it doesn't have to be this long process. You can apply it quickly to what you're doing.
So your one word it's like the reason behind doing what you do. It's almost like the value, your core values. And in some ways the book is not only, it's a process of figuring out that core value, figuring out what that one thing is, and then implementing it, right? And I want to understand, sometimes people might think, well, it's beyond just one thing. But what you're saying is there's this one thing that we all, deep inside of us, whether it's our business, whether our own individual self, there's something that we really, truly, deeply stand for, and we need to discover it.
Yeah, if you're a human being, you have values. And I believe that there's one main core value that stands above everything else. And most people don't know what that is. And so if you don't know what you stand for, then you don't know what to fight for. And as a result, you're just going to be following other people and fighting for their dreams because you don't know what you want for yourself. And so understanding what your core value is then allows you to build a life and build a business with more purpose. For the people who want to have 10 things instead of one, well, I'm all 10 of these things. Look at the companies that have 10 core values. Right? Most companies do. Most companies have a plaque on their wall of like 10 core values. I bet you can go to anybody in that company and nobody would be able to recite what the core values are. I bet you can go to the CEO and he or she wouldn't be able to instantly tell you what the 10 core values are without looking them up. So if you don't know what they are, how is it guiding your decisions? Right? This is supposed to be the things through which you're making the important decisions in your business. How is it guiding you if you can't even remember what they are? And so when you try to remember too many things, you remember nothing. Mm-hmm. And so you need to simplify it, get it down to one thing. And you could turn it from, so believe is a word, and I turn it into hashtag believe, which has extra significance for me. And so you can apply a lot more meaning to the word than what the common definition might be. But I encourage people to get it down and simplify so that it's easy to remember and it's easy to live your life through it.
Yeah, it is easy to remember. It's easy to live your life through it. And I think it's really important to also emphasize the fact that it is supposed to be inspiring. It's supposed to be big and bold and audacious. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be easygoing in some ways. It's supposed to be empowering. It has to invoke a feeling within you.
Yeah, like what kind of life do you want? Do you want a uninspired, boring life? You know, like if you're watching 2,000 books, you're not that person, right? Like you're here to learn, you want to grow, you want to inspire and do more. And so, you know, nobody is one word that I've come across yet has just been, you know, boring or average or mediocre, right? Yeah. Like everybody wants to grow. Everybody wants to aspire to do something more with what they have. And so, yes, it should be bold. It should be bigger. You know, your ideal life should be more than what you're just doing right now.
Yeah. So let's talk about this idea of how to figure out your one word. I believe people are sold on the idea of, okay, I need this one word in my life, but what is, like, how do I figure it out? Well, there's, you know, it's just a vague idea that I have in my head. But in the book, you talk about a process. Let's walk our viewers through the process of figuring out the one word.
Sure. So there's a number of exercises that we go through, and it's helpful to actually go through them step by step to really get the benefits of it. But we can definitely touch on it on a high level here. I think you start off by thinking about what is it that has made you happy in the past? What are the things that have made you come alive? What's your favorite song, and who's your favorite teacher? You know, of all of the teachers that you've had in your life, who is it that stands out? You know, Mrs. Jenkins from grade 9 science. Great. Like, why do you love her instead of all the other teachers that you've had? Well, because she touched you in a way that other people didn't. You know, if you love watching 2000 books, why? What is it about 2000 books that speaks to you? Right? So all the things that have made you come alive, all the things that have made you happy, just write them down and like fill a page of happiness. And then try to write a couple words down as to why you subscribe, why you love them. You know, what did you love about your parents? So 2000 books, maybe it's, you know, inspire, maybe it's knowledge, maybe it's simplicity. You know, what is it that you're going to pull from this channel? And then if you do that enough, you'll see there'll be common words that come up. There's common themes that connects all the things that you've loved. And then so that is the starting point of your path to figure out, now instead of it being random, like how did you guys discover 2000 books? You know, maybe it was randomly suggested to you on the side, right? So instead of having these things randomly come up, instead of having your happiness randomly come up, you're planning for it with purpose, with intention, consistently. So now I want to make that, whatever that one word is, identify, a part of my daily routine and schedule. Some people have an easier time going negative.
Yeah.
So if you can't find the positive, you go negative. Okay, who are the people who you absolutely can't stand? The people who you don't want to be around. And, you know, maybe it's your Aunt Susie who comes over for family dinner on Thanksgiving. You know, if it's her, great, put her down. It's not that they're bad people. It's just they have something, some way of acting or behaving or thinking that it's toxic for you. What is it about Aunt Susie that you don't want to be around ever? And if you get the negative, then that's your anti-word. The opposite will be what your one word is. So some people have an easier time going negative than going positive. And then the third thing to think about is this is a constant for you. This is not just something that's a New Year's resolution. It's not just, I'm dealing with a tough thing right now, and so I need help to get out of this one thing. It's forever. It's in 10 years, I'm still going to care about belief. 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, right? If anything, I'll just care more about it. And so looking at that from that perspective helps you overcome whatever is kind of immediately a problem for you. It can also help to go back to realize that you've always been about this, even though it wasn't articulated. Look at all these things that have made you happy. You've always been about this, and now with more intention, you can design a better life around it going forward.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And as I went through this exercise, and I highly recommend every one of our listeners, every one of our viewers go through this exercise. It's a lot more detailed that you can go in the book as well. But I went through the exercise of figuring out some of the movies that have inspired me and some of the movies that I keep going back to. And two of those movies that always stand out to me, that are always the mainstays for me, are The Matrix and The Gladiator. And they're very profoundly, to me, they're very, and I'll talk about the one word as these, as we talk about the different things. And the book that has had a truly amazing impact on my life was The Atlas Shrugged. That was one of the first books that totally revolutionized the way I thought about life. And the traits I hate, and these are some people in my life that I do no longer connect with, are mostly people who are not, who are not going after something, who are not, who don't have the courage to go after their dreams, or who are not taking action the way I would think it needs to happen. It would bother me. It would frustrate with me. It would challenge me. It would really challenge the limits of my patience with those people sometimes. And so when I put all of this together, maybe you see something in there. Maybe you see something. What is the commonality between Gladiator and The Matrix and Atlas Shrugged? So what comes to your mind, Evan?
So I haven't actually read Atlas Shrugged. One of my fans sent it to me. I've got it on my bookcase. It's this giant book, and she inscribed in it like, "This book changed my life, and I think you should read it." That's on my to-read list. So I don't know the context of what's happening there. Matrix and Gladiator are interesting picks. There's a lot that, like, what I see in The Matrix may not be what you see in The Matrix. Like, I went to go see The Matrix, I think like 6 times in theater. Because at the time, the special effects were so crazy. Like, oh, everybody was talking about it. You got to go see it. You know, the bullets flying over and all that stuff. So, you know, I might take from it that I loved them pushing the envelope on the tech and just really pushing the boundaries of what was possible in film at the time. You may see it as, you know what, I love Keanu Reeves and I love how he stood up for this role, right? Or I love the idea of the blue pill and the red pill and I want to take this pill in life, right? Like there's so many different angles to take it.
So let me kind of let me explain what I came to the conclusion, because there's a lot more stories as well. So I'm not giving you enough of a picture or a background to give you the complete answer here. So the one word that I kept on coming to was greatness. Do something great. And in Matrix, the hero Neo is like he is doing something great. Gladiator, that's what the hero does again. Russell Crowe, Maximus. He does. These are all guys going after big things, and they're same thing with Atlas Shrugged. The protagonists there are going after. They want to do something great in this world. They're not satisfied with the ordinary. They have the courage to go after the dreams, even though they might be very scary at times. And that to me is greatness, like going after it, no matter how scary it is, and doing something extraordinary rather than just ordinary. So
I love it. And I think it also ties into why you're so frustrated with these people who don't want to do their goals and don't want to chase their dreams and just settle for a mediocre life.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I get frustrated when I see someone who doesn't want to spend the money to improve their lives. I get frustrated when I say, hey, you should go check out this book or check out this seminar or check out this event. And they'll be like, nah, I would much rather spend my money on buying a new car. And to me, that's like mind blowing. Rather than improving your life, you would be. But I get it. I mean, that revelation has stuck with me, has helped me. Like I read this, or I listened to your book a while ago, and then I re-listened to it again, and that's something that I keep coming back to. So I've been excited about it. I'm now working to put it into practice, and that's what I want to talk about next, which is campaign. Right, the idea that we can use this one word to build our marketing or campaign around it, and there's a lot that goes on behind a campaign. And I think on your channel you have a very powerful video of Steve Jobs talking about how marketing is not about features and benefits. It goes into the deep values. Right? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I think now that you have clarity over what you stand for, greatness, part of it is then making a credo, and the credo is like, what are the 3 things that make up greatness? So what 3 ideas turn the word greatness into hashtag greatness for you? And maybe, you know, maybe still have to do some thinking around what greatness means. But then let's look at your YouTube channel. Great. So what's a logo that inspires greatness? So looking at your logo now, does that inspire you to be great? You know, your tagline, book summaries for ambitious entrepreneurs. Is it only for entrepreneurs? Like ambitious is there because it's tied, but maybe greatness should be there. Book summaries for greatness, people who want greatness, you know, like tying that in so it's clear who it's for. The whole channel art at the top, you know, the color, the neon green or yellow or whatever's showing up on my monitor. Does that make you feel great? Like I look at my logo, the orange airplane. Orange has its own representations, but the idea of a paper airplane for me is you got entrepreneurs who have a dream and they want to take off and fly. We want to soar high, right? We want to do big things. We want to fly away. But we don't have the resources to go out and buy a corporate jet. We want to be a supersonic jet, but we don't have the money to do it. So we're starting off with a paper airplane and we're trying to fly. And so that's why it's in my logo. If you look at in the intro of how we do it, in earlier days of my YouTube videos, it would start with just the plane flying across, and we had a sound of a plane, but it wasn't a believe sound. It sounded like a crop duster. It sounded like there was just this plane going overhead. Like I want it to sound like a supersonic jet, and so it sounds now whoosh. And then I said, you know what? Jets, they break the sound barrier, like the really fast ones, and it goes boom. It's like, I want that at the end. So it goes whoosh, boom. That was believe to me with a paper airplane. And so thinking about 2,000 bucks, greatness. Okay, let's look at our what we're going to call it. Let's look at our tagline. Let's look at what's a symbol that represents it. So you have it on a banner kind of thing, like a ribbon. Is a ribbon great? Should it be a sword and shield? Should it be like whatever makes you, when you look at it, it's like, I feel great looking at my logo. I feel believed looking at this. And a lot of people do as well, because they've been kind of conditioned and trained too through my process. But do you feel great looking at your logo? If not, then okay, how do I improve it? What does greatness sound like? What's a gesture that you can use? Right at the end of every video I do like continue to believe, right? Like people who join me, I had CEO of Sage today, Stephen Kelly. Sage is a 15,000 person accounting software company in the UK. And at the end of the video, he goes like this, right? It's like habits and rituals and gestures are important. And so everything that you touch should make you feel great first and others feel greatness as well. Look at your environment, look at where you work, right? So there's a bunch of blank walls behind you. I don't know what you're looking at, right? Like this is what I come into. You may not know some of these people. You may not like any of these people. It's fine, right? Like we all know who this is, but Howard Schultz started Starbucks, right? Yeah. That's my parents. AP Giannini started Bank of America, and that's Kanye. In the middle, like that's me when I'm 7 years old. You know, this means something to me. This, I walk in and like, I feel believe. Do you walk into your environment and does it make you feel great? And it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be sitting at the top of the most expensive condo building ever, right? With like a beautiful infinity pool or whatever to feel great. You can have visuals. And so in everything that you do, you want to feel great. You want to ooze great. You want your audience to feel it as well. And so that whenever somebody says the word greatness, they think about you and your channel and the content you're making. Like if people see the word believe, they think of me. They send me pictures of like, I saw believe written on a park bench and I thought of you, right? Like you want to make it easy to spread your message. But if you stand for 10 things, nobody's going to remember anything. Like you won't remember it, but nobody who's following you will remember it either.
Yeah. No, this is really key in the sense that you are almost instilling it into the deep workings of your business, of your communication to the external world. You're saying that it needs to be a part of every which way communication goes out to the external world, and whether it's giving a name which is Believe Nation, as you say, giving the tribe a name, or having a story, having the creed, having specific creeds and credos, and having a mindset, and all these things will add on over time to allow us to get seeped in this culture. And we're not just seeping ourselves, but we're actually seeping our audience, our tribe, our members of the community into this messaging to allow it to inspire them.
100%, right? Yeah. And like 2,000 Books is a place that I want to go to feel great, to learn great knowledge, to be the best version of myself. Like you could think about how do you start off each video. So if you're telling me about, Think and Grow Rich or whatever else video that you're covering a book, here's another book summary to help you guys be great. Part of greatness is your belief system. So today we're going to look at Think and Grow Rich. And so you're bringing people to you who love the concept, and you're sending people away who aren't going to be fits, right? So like if somebody doesn't care about greatness, it's like, don't come to 2,000 Books. You're not going to enjoy my stuff. Like it's not the right place to be. If you like complaining and just sitting where you are, great. Like you don't have to necessarily hate on them. It's just, this is not going to be a home for you. There's lots of people who don't like Believe. And it's like they would suffocate in my environment because it's all Believe heavy. And the people who need that message, they come and are consistent and are loyal. And so it helps you make better decisions, and it also helps make it easy for people to spread your message for you because you've defined it.
Yes, the definition allows for the message to be spread. That is so key. The clarity of message allows it to be spread. So let's talk about the other big component of the one word, which is building your whole business around it, not just your messaging, not just your value system, but building your whole business around it. And you studied quite a few companies, one of which is the Honest Company, Jessica Alba's Honest Company, which is all about honest. Honesty is their number one value. Honest is what they stand for in every product, everything that they do. So what are some of the key elements of building a business when it comes to using your one word? Let's start from the bottom. And I think, as you say, hiring is one of the components, like hiring people who believe in belief, or who believe in the message.
100%. Most people make the wrong hiring decision, especially in the early days of a company. We've never hired somebody before. Most people hire only for skill, and they ignore values. So it's like, hey, maybe you want a video editor, right? Okay, I need a video editor. I'm getting too busy. I want to be the guy, with the microphone and in front of the camera, not the guy behind doing it. Like, as you grow, maybe that's a goal. And so a lot of people would just be, okay, well, I need a video editor with these skills. Great. I want a video editor who likes Believe. My video editor actually almost tattooed Believe on her arm before ever meeting me. It was a happy coincidence, but I made that happen. Like, I attracted that person to come. And they don't have to all have Believe as their one word, but they have to care about it. If they think it's stupid, we're gonna fight constantly, right? And so the way I do it is, in my job ads, it'll always be in my title. So I'm looking for a video editor who believes in entrepreneurs. Some people would look at that and say, that is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Amazing. Don't apply, because we're not going to work well together. Like, we will both be happier with you working somewhere else. A lot of times what people do, as soon as they see video editor, they're just going to auto submit their resume and their cover letter, right? And what takes 10 seconds for them takes you minutes to review each one. And fine, one person doesn't matter, but if you're getting 100 applications, that's hundreds and hundreds of minutes that you're wasting, days wasting looking through these applications. So I write one sentence at the top, and then I'll always lead with what we're doing. I always lead with what this business is all about, believing in entrepreneurs. So I want people to self-select out because they don't like what it stands for. And I also want people to self-select in. I want somebody to see that and be like, this is amazing. And they'll spend more time on their cover letter and more time applying and more time doing whatever project you ask them to do, because they love the values behind it, on top of having the skills to be able to do the work. And so when you hire people with the same values as you, things just go so much smoother than if you have to convince them of something and then you're just constantly fighting. An ideal team is people who have shared values with different skill sets. So, like, I have the ability to be a speaker and to make these videos, and you have the ability to edit them. Great. And we both love the mission and the values. Awesome. Like, that's going to be a great team, whether it's a partner in the business or just an employee that you're bringing on. Most people don't look at that. Most people hire really inefficiently. They spend so long going through all of these things, all of the interviews and the job process and reading all the cover letters, that when they finally get somebody who they think have the skills, they need it to work out. Like, even if the person is just okay, it's like, it was so painful to get here, I don't want to go through that process again. So we'll stick with the mediocre person who's just okay, instead of actually trying to find the great person.
Yeah, that is so true. And we've all walked that line as early stage entrepreneurs. That's one of the things we go through. I mean, you've seen my struggles of losing my employees and the pains of all of that. So I've been there, and I know how hard it is to not be able to find someone who doesn't believe in your message and your mission and your purpose. So yeah, really important. Now, the other thing, another really big thing that you talked about was that we make big decisions with our heart and small ones with our head. And I'm not sure if you said it or if someone else said it, but that is one line that really struck with me, and that kind of tied the whole concept together for me. Like, you can make those big decisions with that one word, with that heart, with that inspiration behind what you're doing, and then let the small decisions evolve as with your head.
Yeah, I think you should make big decisions with the heart and the small ones with the head. I don't think most people do. I think most people try to think their way through things, and the mind, like, your brain understands the world that currently exists. where your heart can create something new. It's illogical to create something new. Your brain can't comprehend it, so your brain is always going to limit you to what is currently possible, where your heart can go off and create something new. So as an example, if you want to start a YouTube channel, if you are doing it because you really want to do it, because you want to share, because you want to grow, because you want to develop the skill and talent, then that's a heart-based decision. Like, great, this is what I'm going to do. I love this. I'm going to go out and pour my all into it. That's a big decision. Then your head is, okay, how do I have success with this? How do I make this work? What do I call my titles and my thumbnails and my name, and what video am I going to do now? Like, all of that becomes the small tactical how-to. That's head decisions. If you start a business only with your head, it's going to fail. Like, if you say, okay, I want to have success as an entrepreneur. Okay, great. I'm going to pull up Inc. magazine. I'm going to look at the hottest 50 industries to get into in 2017. And I'm going to go pick that one.
Mm-hmm.
It's a head. Like, how do I have success? I'm picking it with my brain. But I don't care about whatever it is, right? I don't care about Pokemon. So I'm not going to have success. I'll never have success, true success, doing Pokemon when I don't have a passion for it. And so when you make the big decisions with the head, you're likely to fail. And that's, I think, what most people do. Like, they make lists. Those big things, you make a list. It's the wrong way to do it, because if you're only making it based off of facts and only of what your head kind of understands, you're missing out on a bigger opportunity. Like, you can't quantify love.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're going to decide to marry somebody, if it's going to be based off of this set checklist, right? It's not the way to do it. You're going to make a mistake, right? Where you have to feel it. And so big decisions should be made with the heart, which gives you some freedom. It allows you to do the scarier things, and then use your head to figure out the how.
Yeah, absolutely. This is so key. And in some ways, I feel like it ties the whole discussion together for us, that idea of the one word, the understanding the values that you stand for, and hopefully structuring your life, structuring your business decisions, structuring your big decisions around that thing, around that important thing that you believe strongly in your heart, not just in your head. So, Evan, this has been a lot of fun, a lot of great learning, and I'm sure it's a lot of great learning for our listeners, our viewers, as we continue to watch this. But tell our listeners, tell our viewers where to find you, where to find your book, and all the good stuff as well.
Cool. Well, let me do a quick shout out. I don't know if you're watching a live chat, because some people are watching live. So we got Tanu Dada and Afu BU sharing and chatting it up in the chat. So thank you guys for watching live. The first live stream on 2,000 books. I love it.
Yeah.
To find the book, it's wherever you buy books. It's everywhere. It's on Amazon. It's in Barnes & Noble. It's in Chapters. Wherever you buy your books, that's where it is. And I encourage you guys, if you pick it up, I want to make sure you read it. Like, read it, do the exercises. Don't just have something that you put on a bookcase and never get through. And I think you'll get some good value from it.
Of course. And you can find Evan on evancarmichael.com. You can find the YouTube channel, Evan Carmichael. Again, he is a YouTube celebrity. 600,000 subscribers today. Evan, congratulations. Big hearty congratulations on that as well.
Thanks for the love, man, and everything that you do to try to help spread greatness. I love it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you. This was great. Really exciting. Looking forward to doing more of this. See you later. Bye-bye. All right, I'm gonna